4 through 37. In those days, after the suffering of that time, the sun will become dark, and the moon won't give its light. The stars will fall from the sky, and the planets and other heavenly bodies will be shaken. Then they will see the human one coming in the clouds with great power and splendor. Then he will send the angels and gather together his chosen people from the four corners of the earth, from the end of the earth to the end of heaven. Learn this from the parable from the fig tree. After its branches become tender and it sprouts new leaves, you know that summer is near. In the same way, when you see these things happening, you know that he's near, at the door. I assure you that this generation won't pass away until all these things happen. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will certainly not pass away. But nobody knows when that day will come, not the angels in heaven and not the Son. Only the Father knows. Watch out, stay alert. You don't know when the time is coming. It is as if someone took a trip, left the household behind, and put the servants in charge, giving them one a job to do, and told the doorkeeper to stay alert. Therefore, stay alert. You don't know when the head of the household will come, whether in the evening or at midnight, or when the rooster crows in the early morning or at daybreak. Don't let him show up when you weren't expecting and find you sleeping. What I say to you, I say to all. Stay alert.
No, I got it. Thanks. Then they will see the human one coming in the clouds with great power and splendor. Then he will send the angels and gather together his chosen people from the four corners of the earth, from the end of the earth to the end of heaven. Learn this parable from the fig tree. After its branch becomes tender and sprouts new leaves, you know that summer is near. In the same way, when you see these things happening, you know that he's near, at the door. I assure you that this generation won't pass away until all these things happen. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words certainly will not pass away. But nobody knows when that day or hour will come. Not the angels in heaven, not the Son, only the Father knows. Watch out. Stay alert. You don't know when the time is coming. So learn this parable from the fig tree. Now, I don't notice a lot of fig trees around Pine Island. Do you guys? No. But I do notice maple trees, okay? And especially what time of year? In the fall, exactly. So these maple trees, these are the ones that are next door to our church, just on the other side of Miss Angie's place, okay? I don't know about you, but I think they are beautiful. I look forward to fall when they start to turn their colors, okay? Although to be truthful, my favorite one is this one. This is the one that's at the funeral home, okay, just next door. And that one, I don't know, but it seems to be a brighter orange than the ones on this side, okay? And it is a sight to behold as it turns just this complete blaze orange color. It's like a color that is beyond nature. It's so bright. Although it's also kind of bittersweet, because as I watch this tree slowly turn more and more orange, I know that it only looks this way for like 1 or 2 days. It reaches the peak of color, and it seems about that day, the leaves fall. Now, if I'm smart, once I see those orange trees of that tree, and especially once I see these orange trees on the ground, okay, next to the trunk there, I know that it's time to dig out the snow shovels from the shed, okay? It's time to make sure that my snowblower starts up, okay? Because it's a lot better to get your snowblower going when it's above freezing, right? And when there's not snow outside your garage door, okay? But guess what? I'm not always that smart, okay? Although Carl Manselman was that smart. He gets the church snowblower ready. Is ours ready already? Yeah. Carl, do you think my snowblower is ready today? No, it's not. So if I can't learn from the parable of the maple tree, at least I can learn from the parable of Carl Manselman that if only I would learn to get my snowblower ready each year when Carl Manselman says, I got the church snowblower ready, that'd be smart. So you and I, we might not know the parable of the fig tree, but we do know the parable of the maple tree. When we see some things taking place, well, we know we need to get ready. But for us Christians, the question is, ready for what? Well, each year around this time after Thanksgiving, we know that it's time to get ready for the Christmas shopping season. Okay, right? If you don't remember, we get reminded by all those ads. Also, around this time of year, every year, when we see purple or blue in the sanctuary, when we start lighting Advent candles, we know that it's time for us to start to get our hearts ready to receive Jesus on Christmas Eve. And we also believe that the time will come someday when Jesus Christ comes in final victory and we feast at his heavenly banquet. But here's the thing. If we wait until we see the stars fall from the sky and the planets and the other heavenly bodies shaking, if we wait until the sun becomes dark and the moon ceases to shine, well, it will be too late. We will have missed our chance. You see, you and I, we have these things that Jesus has asked us to do before the day of his arrival comes. Okay? Remember we was talking about that landowner, the guy that went and then put some people in charge? Okay, we got some stuff to do. And the stuff that Jesus has us to do is a whole lot more important than me getting my snowblower ready before the first big snow comes. So, in terms of preparing ourselves for Jesus' triumphant return, of you and I being ready to meet Jesus even at the end of our own individual lives, okay, it's not just the end of time, it's also the end of our time for some of us, okay? Here's the question. How are we doing? Are we ready? How are we bringing God's realm here on earth? Because Jesus has not asked us to sit on our hands while we're waiting, right? Remember this line? I think I remember it. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Yeah. And when we pray that, we got to realize that it's not all up to God. So how do we participate with God in this? Well, a good place to start is in our hearts. Okay? It starts in the heart. You know, introducing people to Jesus and having all people love Jesus even more than they do now. Okay? Other people's hearts and our own hearts. And we already know what that's called. It's called making disciples. Right, Rick? Yeah. We're making disciples. We're introducing people to Jesus. We're having people be more and more in love with Jesus, who know Jesus already. Okay? And once that's started, well, it just doesn't stop there. You see, when we are more in love with Jesus, well, we start to care about the things. We start to care about the people who Jesus cares about. And when we start caring about the things and the people that Jesus cares about, guess what? We start doing things. We start doing things that transform our world into a better place. We, United Methodist Wesleyans, we are known to be the people who have taken two seemingly opposite things and have wedded them together. Okay? We have personal piety, the hard stuff, and we have the social gospel, the world stuff, the change in the world stuff. And as a result, over the centuries, we United Methodists, we have changed our nation for the better. You know, someday, I dare you to get me started on our Methodist social principles, which were first written and adopted back in 1908. Okay? Once I get going, man, Rick has not heard me get into this, but once I get going, then I start talking about American history. And I talk about how the Methodists have shaped American history. Okay? And if you get me going, Beth, then I start talking about England and the fact that England never had a revolution like every other country in Europe. Okay? Doing world-changing things. You know, in our history of being those people called Methodists who changed the world for the better, this goes all the way back, even before our country. It goes back to the mid-1700s. Okay? And it's not just here at home, but it's also around the world. Just ask Rick Ormsby about what's happening in the name of Jesus over in Baiwala, Sierra Leone. Good stuff happening over there, Rick? A lot of good stuff happening. And that's just to name one place where we have made a difference just this fall. So no wonder our worldwide mission statement of the United Methodist Church is making disciples of Jesus Christ for the transformation of the world. Okay? It ties together. And don't forget that here on this corner in Pine Island, years before I came, years before I knew I was coming, years before most of you even knew who I was, you people, the people of this church, made the decision, made the commitment to share the love of Jesus, to offer hope to people, and to have this be a place where everyone can feel like they belong. Does that ring a bell? Love, hope, a place to belong? Yeah. So how are we doing with these things? We know we want to do them. We say we do them. How are we doing? And if we want to do better, if we need a shot in the arm, well, maybe we can start with increasing our personal faith in Jesus Christ. Okay? So, how are we doing on bringing God's realm to fruition here on earth? Learn from the maple trees. Okay? Because if we wait until we see Jesus coming in the clouds to start doing it, well, we're going to be starting way too late, right? If we wait until we're about ready to take our final last breath, guess what? We'll have missed our chance. So start today. And by the way, watch out. Stay alert. Because you don't know when the time is coming. So let's prepare our hearts. Let's start with preparing our hearts so we're ready to greet Jesus. And we're going to sing a song. It's called Wait for the Lord. And this is a beautiful Taizé song. It's like a monastic song. It is a monastic song. And we're going to repeat it 2 or 3 times. I told Joe earlier, we're going to sing this until we get sick of it. Okay? But as we repeat it, let the words sink into you. So let's sing Wait for the Lord.